Yoder from My So Quilty Life, and welcome to my channel. It's a new year, and this year I thought it'd be great if I release more videos. So I actually have a goal to release 4 videos a month. That is going to be challenging because I'm already super busy, but I thought it would be really fun to do a little bit of behind the scenes, what I'm working on, videos about UFOs, videos about my new quilt patterns, and much more. So I'm so happy you're here, and for the first video, I am talking about something we all don't like to talk about. I'm talking about our UFOs, our unfinished objects. These things daunt me, they haunt me, and they give me the chills every time I think about them. I don't know about you, but I have the bad habit of starting new projects too soon, not finishing everything I start, and well, just kind of giving up on projects. So today I thought it'd be fun to talk about UFOs, but more specifically, a UFO challenge. I will actually be joining the UFO challenge put on by All People Quilt. You can find more information about this below. I'm going to link and or type in the information to the website to go ahead and print out the UFO challenge worksheet. So today I'm going to go over this worksheet, how it works, and my long list of UFOs that I hope to finish this year. So I'm really excited to join on this challenge, and I hope that you are able to join too and knock out some of those UFOs that you have been wanting to do for many, many years now. So I have about 12, maybe a little more than 12 that I pulled for this UFO challenge. Some of them are quilts that need binding. Some of them are quilts that need quilted and binding. And then some are just kind of halfway done, or the blocks still need done. But anyways, I thought I would share those to you. Hopefully this inspires you to get out all your UFOs and tackle them with me this year. I'm hoping to have no UFOs going into 2024. Hopefully I don't start in any new projects that I don't finish, but we all know that is probably not gonna happen. You know, we're quilters, right? We love to start new projects. We love all the things, and sometimes working on a project gets old. So first up, I'm going to show you the UFOs, then I'm going to assign them all a number and month and put them into the worksheet. So the first thing I thought I would show you was my Sweet Petals quilt. This quilt I designed and made about a year ago, and it just needs binding. Why is this the hardest thing to do? I don't know why, but when I get done to this point, I'm like, I'm done, yay! When really, I'm not. I still have to bind this quilt. So I actually have several quilts that need binding, but I only pulled a couple to show you today. So if I get it all bound and I have more time in the month, I will start binding other ones. So I thought I would show you this one. This one is Sweet Petals. It's just one big flower quilt. It's patchwork. The pattern is actually on my website at mysoquiltylife.com. It actually comes with ways to make this just one color, one solid color, or the patchwork. So this is Sweet Petals. She needs to have her binding on. So that's my first quilt that I wanted to show you. Okay, the next quilt I wanted to show you, and I'm going like off frame because I have my ironing board filled with all these goodies. So the next quilt I want to show you is something I love. I love, love, love this quilt. But I don't know why I never put binding on it. Like, ugh. So this one is called Rosewood. I released this pattern last February, so almost a year, and I won't be able to hold it up because it is ginormous, but I can show you a little bit of it. So it's got this beautiful rose block with these blooming blobs, some beautiful leaves and stems, and I actually have a YouTube video on this channel showing you how to make these leaf blocks since they're not really done a normal way. It's still traditional piecing, but there's some different techniques you need in order to make it. So this is Rosewood. This was actually quilted by Gina Tell of Thread Graffiti. Love Gina. Hey Gina, if you're watching. So she still needs binding. I'm so sorry, Gina. I know this is like a year later and it's still not bound, but when it is, when I do put the binding on it, I'll take really beautiful pictures of it. I promise. So this is done with Yoder's Beautiful Dayline. I know that you can still find it in a couple of quilt shops. I've seen a little bit online, but if you want to make this quilt, this is on my website. Again, it is called Rosewood, and the fabric is selling out quick. So if it's not already, it might be all sold out. So that's Rosewood. She just needs binding. Just toss her down. Another quilt that needs binding on it is my daisy chain. So I did this quilt 2000, so it was right before I moved from Kansas to Illinois, and then I moved from Illinois to South Carolina. That's where I'm at now, South Carolina. But I did this quilt right before I moved to Illinois last year in about July. I did a quilt along with it. So you might be familiar with my original daisy chain, and that one has a pink background with white daisies. But I wanted to do one different, and I did it in print fabrics with a white background. So that's this one. It's also available in my shop, PDF or paper pattern. It was actually quilted by my local quilt shop from Kansas. Her name is Leslie from the Quilted Sunflower. You should look her up. She is so sweet. I love that shop. So this one, it's my next one. So what I might do is put all three of these together because it doesn't take a lot of time to do the binding and put it on. So I don't know why I haven't done it. So the next one are quilt tops that need to be put into quilts and sandwich them and quilt them. So this one is actually heart on a string. And now I know you guys are going to be mad at me that I'm showing this because I don't have a pattern in my shop at the moment. This was in the Quilt and More magazine in January 2022. So I don't know if you can still get that magazine, but I do plan to put a pattern out with this quilt so you can quilt it, or make it. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to happen this year before Valentine's. So this is my quilt that I made for the quilt along. So I remade the one I made in the magazine. I remade it using Beautiful Day. Again, this fabric is by Yoder, and I thought it turned out so cute. And I just have to sandwich it and quilt it. And I will probably do the quilting here. Usually I like to quilt on my domestic machine smaller projects, although I have quilted this one before, or I did, not before. This is actually Sunflower Stand. It is a pattern I released in August or September using Yoder's Buttercup and Slate fabric. It is so beautiful. I love this. Is one of my favorite quilts. So cute. I actually did the quilting on this one because, don't tell anybody, but I was a little behind on making the quilt and I ran out of time to send it to my quilter Gina. So I was like, well, I guess I'll be quilting it by myself. And this bad boy is like 85 inches by 85 inches. So what I did is I did like a little leaf and then I did a little swirl and then like a little flower all over it. It only took about 5 hours, but I'm pretty proud of it because it's the first time I did anything different other than really like my normal little flower or a all over meander. So this quilt will get quilted by me. Another one is one of my favorites. It is called Rolling Petals and it is a mess. Look, it's already getting all crazy. So she needs to be put into a quilt sandwich and quilted up. So this is my quilt called Rolling Petals. Little wrinkly. I made this. This is a jelly roll friendly quilt. You can also make it in 3 other different sizes. This is, I believe, the crib size, but you can make it, honestly, if you just keep adding blocks, you can make it as big as you want. I used the Sophie collection by Brenda Riddle, and it just needs to be put into a quilt sandwich and quilted, which I will do. Maybe I'll quilt those two in the same month. We will see. But I also have one more unfinished object that needs quilted. This is this is my Christmas tree mix pattern. And I made a smaller version of it and I showed that on my blog if you're interested in making this setting. So this is my Christmas tree mix quilt that needs to be quilted. Hopefully I'll have it done for Christmas next year, or this year. It's Christmas this year, it's 2023. This was using, I don't remember the line, but it's by Sweetwater. It's one of their Christmas lines. So that one needs quilted. So far I have 3 quilts that need binding and 3 quilts that need quilting. So I'm hoping I can just add those in the same month because it really doesn't take that long. And if I get into a bind, I will just send them out. So I will also show you real quick I designed a quilt a couple years ago, I think in 2021, so a couple years ago, called Along the Meadow. And I never finished it. I know, how could I? How could I design a pattern and never finish it? Well, it happened, guys, it definitely happened. So I have the fabric to finish it, and I have the quilt almost together. So it's in pieces, it's in fours. This is Along the Meadow that I designed. It's one of my first floral quilts that I designed, one of them. I did use the Folk Tale collection by Layla Boutique, and this one is fun. It's got like this fun movement throughout the whole quilt where the flower blocks feel like they're moving. So I need to put all 4 of these units together and then put the borders on. I have the border fabric here. I need to put the borders on, and then I need to quilt it and bind it. So I'm hoping I can do that in one of the months all together. So that is my next project. Okay, so my next one, I think from here on out, it is, oh no, I'll save Christmas for later. So I have a couple Christmas unfinished objects that I need to get done. So speaking of sunflower stand, this is the pattern for sunflower stand, this quilt behind me here. I did a couple of YouTube tutorials on how to make this flower block as well as a stem block. And I promise I will get to part 3. I know all of you are waiting. It's just been crazy here. So I'm hoping to get part 3. Maybe I'll make this month's UFO challenge project so I can get it done and get that video out for you guys. But I decided, I also have on my blog a crib size quilt, which you might have seen some of my pattern release team's pictures on Instagram and Facebook. But on my blog, I have the additional setting that you can make, and it's actually this one. So I ended up doing it in a 1930s scrappy reproduction inspired quilt fabric. So the only thing I need to do is really put this into its final setting. All the blocks are done, so I thought I'd show you some of them. So this is one of the leaf blocks, and this is going to be the flower in the center. The crib size only has 1 flower and then 3 stem blocks. So it shouldn't be that hard to finish, but it's an unfinished object and it needs to be done. It also has, I don't know if you can see behind me, but there is a border on the quilt. So it's almost like a scalloped border. So I am doing that in different scrappy 30s prints, these reproduction prints. So I've got different ones here that I need to make and put into the border. So I think that can get done in all 1 month. Don't hold me to it, but I will be sharing at the end of each month, in the beginning of each month, I will be sharing my progress on my UFO, if I finished it, if I didn't get to it. Hopefully I get to it, because that is the purpose of this challenge. And I'm hoping that through these videos on YouTube, you guys can like keep me accountable, because sometimes I say I'll finish something and then I don't, kind of like this tutorial. I know all of you guys can relate. So at the beginning of each month, All People Quilt will release a number. They've already released number 3. I believe it's number 3 for January. So each month they will release the number. I will see what it is, and I will share a video about what that number is and which project I'm going to be completing. So my next project was actually a quilt along I did in the summer called Rolling Petals Quilt Along. So you might remember it. I was doing the 1930s style. So I actually have all of my blocks done. I just need to add like the little cornerstones, and I'm so intimidated by putting things like that on, because I'm actually doing them in red, which you can see every seam and every mistake. So after doing my Rolling Petals original quilt in 2021, it was a little tricky to get those to match up. So I'm going to try to take my time and get them matched up and sew this all into a quilt so that it can be done, because I think it is going to be so cute. I was inspired by like a grandmother's flower garden quilt when I decided to use the 1930s prints, but these blocks are so cute. I love them so much. So I'm hoping to be able to put that into a quilt. Again, that was my Rolling Petals pattern. I already shared the original one, but this is the pattern. It's available on my website in PDF and paper format. Okay, A next one that I'm going to share, it's kind of my last springy one. So I know you all probably know Yoder from Coriander Quilts, but she put out this super cute book with Martingale called Oh Happy Day and did a quilt along, I believe in September and October. And I did really good to stay along each week with the blocks, but I kind of fell off when it was time to put it all together. Which kind of happens a lot when I start quilt-alongs, not gonna lie. I'm really excited about them, we start them, and then kind of trickle off, and I think a lot of you are the same. I think a lot of you do the same thing as me, so I wanted to show you, she, on her blog, I won't share these, but on her blog she has the setting, all the instructions for finishing. The finishing is really cool. It has different stars as like the cornerstones and then some patchwork in between as the sashing, and this is one of the sashings. I think I got one done. Corey, don't kill me, okay? Don't kill me. I'm gonna finish this, it's gonna get done, but here are a couple of my blocks. I used Corey's a lot of Corey's prints. I used some fig tree, and then I used her white on white from Sugar Creek. I have a ton of that background, so I decided to use that all up in her quilt along. And then oh, I think there's a Layla Boutique fabric here too. But here's a couple of the blocks. They're all 12.5-inch unfinished. They're really pretty. I wanted mine to be bright, colorful, perfect for spring. So maybe I can get this done sooner than later so I can have it for spring. I love this one. So each of these blocks are from her book. They all belong to a different quilt, which I thought was really cool. I might remake this one. I don't love it. Don't kill me. This one's an Ohio Star. And then that's the last one. Little like houses, but also they could be like arrows. I don't know. So that is that, and I am making a mess. It is crazy over here in my studio. But if you haven't joined, or if you haven't heard of this quilt along, you should totally check out her YouTube channel. She has each week a tutorial and then the book you would need. So this pile is getting so high. Okay, let's move to Christmas. So I have 3 Christmas projects that I'm working on. One is using, this I actually started a long time ago. This might be one of my oldest UFOs. Lori Holt came out with crazy quilt paper about 2 or 3 years ago, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. So what I did was took a layer cake of Swell Christmas, I think, by Urban Chicks, I think, and I made all the blocks. Now, I loved the quilt kit they came out with. I think it was, log cabins maybe, with this panel. So, and you can totally take this idea too. I thought it would be fun to take the panel kind of like they did in that quilt kit and applique it onto my crazy quilt. So here's Santa, Merry Christmas. I thought it would be great to applique him on kind of like they did with that kit, but using the crazy quilt paper. Now, we'll see if that actually gets done. I might just whip this up into a quilt and use this on another project, but that was my intent, so I thought I would share that with you. My next one is something so fun. So a couple of months ago, I released a quilt called Ginger and Jolly. You might remember it. It's the cute gingerbread with bows. I love bows. You guys know that. Love bows. Love putting bows on everything. I would wear a bow in my head if I didn't look silly. So maybe I'll do that for a video. You guys can laugh at me. But I had a thought in the beginning when I was designing that quilt. Like, I thought it could be really cool to have just a giant gingerbread quilt. And I kind of shelved that idea because I was already so busy with releasing Ginger and Jolly that I actually had a customer message me on Instagram and asked me if I could make a giant ginger because she wanted to make some for her grandkids. So what I did is I put out a video here on YouTube as well as on my blog with a worksheet of how to increase the size of the pieces to be able to make this. So I have him or her all done. I don't know if you can see it, but she's giant. Like, look, like, she's giant. She's like life-size Barbie right here. Do you guys remember life-size Barbie? I always wanted one. But anyway, I need to quilt this up, put the border on, put the eyes and the buttons on, and this is donezo. And this could totally be a good Christmas present for a kid. If only I had small kids in my life right now, I could totally do that for Christmas. So I need to get this one done. And my last one was the Letters to Santa Quilt-along. Guys, I don't know if you joined this quilt-along, but I had high hopes. I picked out all my fabric, I got excited, and then I started making the blocks and realized, wow, these actually take a lot of time to make. And time is never like something I have. I'm sure you all can relate. So if you finish this quilt, applause to you, because I can't get this done right now. But I did finish 2 of the blocks, just two of the blocks. This is on Moda's blog. I will link it below. I will link everything below, okay? And this is what the quilt will look like. I don't know if you can see that, but I didn't print out the colored version. But you have to buy a pattern for the letters by Primitive Gathering. So I have that here, and then each week or month on their blog, they show you exactly which ones you make, as well as some filler blocks in between. And I've gotten 2 letters. I think we need like, or two words. I think we need like 30 some words, and I got 2 done. I've got joy, and I've got twinkle. I don't know if this is backwards for you guys or correct, but we've got twinkle. That's what it says, right? Twinkle? Okay, twinkle. So I've got 2 done, but I have all of it. I have 2 words, Rudolph, and another word, I don't know what that word is, here on a design board ready to go, as well as a little design, little plastic container. This is where I keep all of my projects I'm working on in. I have like several of these stacked up over there, but this is all the fabric I need. So those are my fabrics. I'm just doing traditional red and green for this quilt. So I am hoping to be able to get that done, right? That's the goal. This might have to break it up into several different months, because that's a lot of work. It took a long time to even cut out. These are filled with just tons of little pieces, so it took a long time to get that far. So I think I'll put that in 2 months. Okay, now that I've gone over all of my UFOs, I hope you've pulled yours out too, or are inspired to. Now it's time to choose what month these will go under. So I've already wrote down all of the ones I just showed you on a little piece of paper in here, and I'm gonna pull it out of the bucket and assign it a number. So if you look at the worksheet, again, I'll link this below. It has project, month, notes, and finished. That'll feel really great when all these are checked off. But first, I'm going to write my project down under each number and do a fun little drawing while you guys are here, so you also know what I'm going to be working on each month. So let's see. I did put Letters to Santa, the Moda Quilt-along, 3 times in here, because I really do think I will need that much time to work on it. It was like a 5-month quilt-along, so I don't know if I could get it done in a month with everything else going on. So hopefully I don't have to work on it 2 months in a row, or else I might have to like switch up something. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out, and get yours out too and fill it out when you have time. Okay, so first I'm going to draw which project it's going to be, and I'm going to assign them a number. So the first one I pull out will be number 1, the second, number 2, etc. And then as All People Quilt draws the number and posts it on Instagram, I will choose that and I'll write the month next to it. So let's get started. So number 1 is going to be, I won't look, hopefully it's not something hard. Okay, so my number 1 is to quilt Christmas Tree Mix, Rolling Petals, and Heart on a String. So I'm gonna write that really quick. Quilt quilts. Quilt quilts. Nice. Okay, so number 2 is going to be, let's see, Letters to Santa. I don't know why I'm so scared of this quilt. It's so cute, but it's a labor of love. So Letters to Santa. Hopefully I don't have to work on that twice in a row each month. Oh my gosh, one just flew out. We will put that back in there. Okay, and it flew out again. I'm sorry guys, I'm terrible at this. I don't do this ever, hardly. Okay, Let's see, what is it gonna be? Along the Meadow, so number 3, and I think number 3 is this month, January. So I will be putting together my Along the Meadow quilt. All right, number 4. Number 4, I'm gonna be binding all the quilts. Binding quilts. So binding quilts. I'm gonna be really busy. Binding quilts. All right, number 5. We're almost there, halfway. Giant ginger, number 5. Giant ginger. That'll be fun. I can't wait to show you guys. Okay, number 6. Number 6. Letters to Santa. I'm just gonna put L to S. Number 7. Letters to Santa. Hopefully they don't pull 6 and 7 right after each other, because that will be torture. That will be torture. I honestly love that quilt. I really do, but it's a lot of work. Sunflower stand crib is number 8. Sunflower stand crib. Sorry guys, if that number 8 doesn't pop up soon, that tutorial's not getting done. The Lori Holt Crazy Christmas paper. So Crazy quilt is number 9. And number 10, let's see, Rolling Petals, the 1930s quilts. So Rolling Petals, 1930s. Number 11, I know I have 2 bindings in here because that was might take a while. So binding, so we do have number 11 is finishing binding quilts. Now if I finish that for number 4, I will just add something else. And for number 12, let's see what it is. The Oh Happy Day quilt along, I will finish. So Oh Happy Day. So I have written each one down. When they draw it, so like number 3, Along the Meadow, that's for January. So I'll write that. I'll go ahead and write some notes, and then I cannot wait to check these off. So I hope you join in on this UFO challenge with me. Again, I will link it below so you can print this sheet off as well. I will also be doing a blog post about this, kind of showing you which letters were which unfinished objects. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Also give me a comment. I hope to do more videos like this. I am going to be doing 4 videos a month, so hold me to it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you later. Bye.